performance should be anything and everything we do.
I'm Stephanie Paterik, Editor-In-Chief of The Current, and we have a special guest in the studio today. Tom Amies-Cull is Global Chief Operating Officer of Kinesso. Tom, I'm so happy you've come in to talk.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
So I know in your career you have been steeped in operations and strategy. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received about building smart strategies?
Sure. So I think something that was drilled into me really early on in my career was when thinking about strategy, to make sure you think about the execution of that strategy. If you don't, then you end up having a great idea that risks never living or breathing anywhere. The other thing I'd maybe add would be making sure that early on in that strategy process, you bring in diverse thinking. So people with different perspectives, backgrounds, different framing on the problems, so that your strategy has the best chance of being sort of unique and differentiating.
Yeah, I love that talent and hiring can be part
100%.
of your strategy.
Yeah.
A few years ago, marketers were so focused on brand building and creativity. They were dipping their toes in performance. I've heard some say that that dynamic has flipped, and now there's a mindset that everything is performance. What's your view on that?
Yeah. So I'm a performance marketer by background.
Yeah.
So I love this question. It's a great question. I think perhaps previously we were thinking about it as a binary, either or, and performance was something and there was another option. I think what we're seeing now is the definition of performance changing, and so the aperture of how we look at that. So performance should be anything and everything we do. You want to have any investment you make, whether that's on creative or on media, to perform. Now the time horizon and the metrics you use to success to find that success might change. But I think we're looking at performance with perhaps a capital P these days in terms of the more holistic definition, which allows us to think about creativity and media more holistically in that frame.
Yeah, I mean, if you're spending millions on a Super Bowl commercial, you want it to perform,
100%,
right?
yeah.
I know Kinesso is really focused on data and insights. Are you experimenting with AI on the data side of things as well?
Yeah, and I guess we look at it through a few different levels. So we are building in AI to our platforms, so that the tools that our teams can use are AI enabled, and that exists already. But we're also, though, democratizing AI across our organization. So within our Interact platform, we have an AI console that anybody and everyone in Interpublic can access, and they can create agents, they can share agents, they can use that to experiment how to think about creative building audiences. And so we want to embed that just as a way of working into the organization.
Yeah. Something that is so cool is that you list parenting as a skill on your LinkedIn page, and you also have your parental leave blocked off as experience on your resume. Tell me, how has parenting changed the way you work?
Yeah. So preemptive listening as a skill. Hopefully I'm getting better, but yes, it's a learning skill.
You have to ask your daughter.
So I list it because I think it's actually important to role model taking time out. I think there is a unfortunate misconception in the industry that people take time out can't return to career, and I think that's important to role model, certainly for men. Myself and my husband took time out after the birth of our daughter. We found it really rewarding. That's not for everyone, but I think it should be an option for everyone, and so I want to role model that and use that as an example that people can do that. In terms of what I've learned and how that's influencing me, there's maybe two examples. One, very pragmatically, I've had to be super focused on how I prioritize my time. I want to maximize my time at home with my family. So my work has to be optimized. And so the laser focus on optimizing my work life has really kind of changed. And then the other point, which is slightly broader, is we spend a lot of time talking about the future workforce, what skills will people need in the future. Having a child, I think, really brings that to life, because when I talk about the future workforce and the skills they need, now I'm talking about what will my daughter need to do. And we don't have all the answers yet. There's a lot of unknowns about what she might need to have to do in the future. But there is one certain I think we can all agree on, which is those skills that we all learned and we're all using today will not be the skills that people need in the future. So that, I think, has influenced my kind of thought on that.
Oh, that's interesting. So it helps you with your forward thinking.
For sure.
Like what's coming down the pipe.
And it contextualizes, often you have these hypothetical conversations about what will future people need to do. And just as a very personal level as a human being, seeing my child grow up and start to think about, well, what experiences in the school education system might she need, that needs to link to what we think we'll need to succeed in the workforce of the future.
Tom, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate getting your insights both on operations and strategy and also just work culture and life. So I hope you come back again.
Thank you very much for having me.